so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodandsupply.com.
By texting 64000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Babbel. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at babbel.com/TNC.
They say no two people learn the exact same way. So how did Babbel become the award-winning language learning app? Well, we thought of you, all of you. Take Sierra. She's an artist and absolutely a visual learner. She's doing a deep dive into our Babbel wordplay videos.
Today I'll share a quick lesson on shopping in French.
Merci beaucoup. Malcolm is very much a type A, say it to my face, listening learner. So he checks with Babbel's speech recognition to make sure that accent.
Precio.
Keith's a real people person and a curious learner, so he loves Babbel's Culture Bites, full of insights and native knowledge about the language he's learning. Like, what's served for Christmas dinner in Germany?
Glühwein, Weihnachtsgans und Christmasstollen.
However you learn, Babbel makes it easy. Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you text RADIO to 64,000. That's RADIO to 64,000. Text RADIO to 64,000.
This statement is not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Great workout, huh? Hey, do you want to grab some lunch?
I'd love to, but I'm doing one of those detoxes, so I'm only allowed to drink this green stuff all day.
Actually, I'm doing a detox too, but I don't have to drink that.
Wait, what? What detox are you on?
It's called Active Liver, and it's a natural tablet with herbs that support my liver and help me detox daily, all year long. No special diets, no prescription required, no starvation, and no, green stuff. I'm feeling amazing, sleeping better, and have so much more energy. And my digestion's never been better.
Active Liver, huh? I'm gonna pick some up right now, on our way to lunch.
We ask a lot of our liver, so give it the support it deserves with an easy daily detox from Active Liver. Made with natural ingredients like turmeric, milk thistle, and globe artichoke, Active Liver helps cleanse and protect your liver so you feel less bloated and more energized. Find Active Liver online at Amazon, Vitacost.com, or iHerb.com. Or pick it up today at CVS, Meijer Grocery, or ShopRite. When your liver is happy, your body is happy. Enjoy life to the fullest with Active Liver.
KCFX HD4 Harrisonville, K279PI Kansas City, 103.7 FM. Sports Radio 810 WHB, Kansas City.
America's largest all-sports radio station presents the number one... America's largest all-sports radio station presents the number one motorsports show for over 2 decades. Track Talk, brought to you by Rod and Supply and the Power Ride Midwest Lightning Sprints. Here are the racing boys, Scott Traylor and Kirk Elliott.
Good morning and welcome to another edition of Track Talk. I'm Kirk Elliott. Scott Traylor will be joining us here momentarily. Glad to have you along here on a beautiful Saturday morning after we finally got some rain overnight, didn't we? Rained out Lakeside Speedway where Scott Traylor was at last night. You went to the races last night, and you didn't get to see any features at all because of Ma Nature intervened. How many races did you actually watch out there last night?
I watched the heat races.
And that was it.
Yep.
So rained out at Lakeside. They were also supposed to run a race at I-35 Speedway last night, the first of 2 nights for the Heartland Modified Tour, and they called that off early. They saw the forecast coming in, and they pulled the plug on that race early in the day, even if it was the sun was out when they pulled it. But I think that was probably a good move to make. I don't think they would have got it in last night, but they're going to race one night of A-Mods, the Heartland Modified Tour tonight up at I-35 Speedway. You and me, we went down to Wheatland on Wednesday night, saw a great show.
Right.
Kubota High Limit Racing, no problems with weather there. We saw a great show of winged 410 sprint car racing on Wednesday night. What'd you think about that?
I thought it was a good show, Kirk.
And Brent Marks also thought it was a good show. So he picks up his 5th feature win of the season. And Rico walks away with the midweek high limit points title by just 1 point. Just 1 point. Now, he's going to try to win the overall championship.
Right.
The complete championship will be settled tonight for the Kubota High Limit Racing on night 2 at Texas Motor Speedway Dirt Track, and I think Rico's off to a pretty good start. He won last night and expanded his lead on Brad Sweet, but it's not over yet. we'll see what happens tonight, but Rico Abreu looks like he's poised to walk away with his first national tour championship. You think he'll get it done?
He beat Darren Pittman and Giovanni Scelzi and Brad Sweet.
Darren Pittman has done everything but win a race in that Don Kreitz car at Texas Motor Speedway dirt track. And I think it might surprise a lot of people that Don Kreitz would pull his number 69 car all the way to Texas Motor Speedway for Darren Pittman to drive. He's led a lot of laps down there over the last couple of years, but have not been able to pull off a feature victory. And last night was no exception. Darren Pittman ends up in second place. They got that Interstate Battery sponsorship there, which I think makes it worthwhile to pull all the way out of here from Pennsylvania. But Pittman ends up in second place last night, and tonight we'll see if Rico can
How'd Aaron
close the
Reitzel
deal.
do?
Well, he ran up front just like he always has. He's of course, he's from Texas, you know.
Clute, Texas.
Clute, Texas. Let's see where he ended up.
He ended up running.
He ended up sixth last night. Started fifth, ended up sixth. It was Dason Persley who started on the outside of the front row alongside Darren Pittman. And Rico was able to get past Persley before he made his move on Darren Pittman coming out of turn number 2. Brad Sweet comes from 9th to 4th. And as we look at the point standings right now, the owners' points mean a lot here because that's how they base all the point fund money off of, because Aaron Reitzel's a part of that, even though he had to sit out a couple of months due to injury. Rico comes out of last night with a 25-point lead now on Ridge and Sons Racing and Aaron Reitzel, 40 points ahead of Brad Sweet. But as far as the driver standings is concerned, it's 40 points over Brad Sweet.
Sam Haferteef is going to break his hand?
He won the first of 2 nights at Tulsa Raceway in the ASCS race. Yeah, Sam keeps beating the top of that wing after a win with his hand. He's going to break it. But that's the first time that Sam has been able to do that since September 6th. His first win on the ASCS National Tour since September 6th, which seems like a long time ago. That was at 81 Speedway, as I recall. But Sam was able to get around Tulsa Raceway better than anybody else last night. Looked like the track was a little bit on the slick side, and the bottom was where to be, but he looked like he was running pretty gingerly around there, trying to stay ahead of Sean McClellan, who ends up in second. Those two guys started on the front row last night. Good finish for Terry Esom. He holds off Matt Cummington. Those two guys were really battling it out for third place, with Esom coming out on top. Blake Hahn had to come out of the B main, and he starts 17th in the A and gets a top 10 finish out of it. Ends up in 9th place in last night's feature event. And as far as the point standings are concerned, Haferteef can already celebrate. It's pretty much all over. They got the Fuzzy Fall Fling coming up next month, but his lead now on Matt Covington is 166 points. Blake Hahn is in third. Jason Martin and Garrett Benson, your top 5. They'll go at it again tonight down at the Tulsa Raceway, night 2. There's some other racing going on in Tulsa this weekend, Scott. Got the KKM Give Back that's going on at Port City Raceway. This is where the winner gets a ride to race in the Chili Bowl, courtesy of Keith Coons Motorsports. And they had night 2 last night at Port City. And Chris Carroll comes away with the feature victory after Frank Flood won on Thursday night. So a lot of racing at 2 different racetracks down at Tulsa. Probably the wildest finish of the night last night, Scott, had to come in the World of Outlaws.
Right.
David Gravel and Buddy Kofoid
got together.
They did.
On the last lap.
Lincoln Park Speedway, Putnamville, Indiana. Gravel on his way to another World of Outlaw Championship after he DNF'd his last time out, but not the case last night for Gravel. He and Buddy Kofoid were coming to the checkered flag and
got together.
Buddy was trying to go for the same spot that Gravel was, and around he went.
Do you think that was a racing deal?
It comes to the checkered flag, and they called it official.
You think that was a racing deal, Kirk?
Yeah, it was a racing deal. Both drivers admitted it. You know, David said, I don't like racing like that. And, you know, rain of boos from the grandstand. They were booing the heck out of David Gravel last night, and he was eating it up. Said, you can boo me all you want. They went back and talked to Buddy Kofoid in the pits after the race to hear what he thought about it. And he says, yeah, I knew that Gravel was going to slide up high like that, but, you know, I had to go for it. He was for the win. So both drivers were okay with it, but not the fans. They thought that Gravel played a little bit dirty there. But I think it was just a racing deal, don't you?
I do.
So David Gravel wins another World of Outlaw feature. What is that, like 17 wins now? Something like that? Tonight they'll be at LaSalle Speedway, and then Sunday night at Angel Park Speedway in Wisconsin. Next weekend they're going to be at Arrowhead Speedway, beautiful racetrack down in Oklahoma, and 81 Speedway. World Finals are coming up second weekend in November. Trophy Cup is going on this weekend, Scott. This is a big event out in California. Thunderbolt Speedway, Tulare, California.
I've been there.
You've been to that racetrack. Some great action the first two nights of Trophy Cup. Thursday night, Tim Kading and Dylan Bloomfield were going at it. And once Kading got the lead, it looked like he was just going to check out and win the race, but Bloomfield had other ideas. He comes back to Kading at the end, makes a run to the outside, and I thought he got squeezed up into the wall there. Bloomfield got upside down, and that was that. Or he got up into the wall, and Tim Kading was able to win the race on a green-white checker restart. And then last night, Chris Carroll from Arkansas makes the pull out at Tulare and holds off Kobe Copeland to win night 2 at Trophy Cup. Tonight will be the final night. It's they do things different at Trophy Cup. They tally points to determine the overall Trophy Cup. Well, I'm not sure I like that. I think you ought to just have one final big race, but that's the way they do it out there. Trophy Cup. It's under a new regime now. Rudine has kind of taken that over. It was on Flow last night, but it's pretty good action at Thunderbolt Speedway last night. Finally, in sprint car racing, non-wing sprint cars, we're at Dodge City Raceway Park, where Kyle Cummins, after he already clinched the National Tour Championship, wins the feature event at Dodge City Raceway Park last night. And here's a guy that grabbed the lead in the series early in the season, but then struggled for a time, was able to maintain a pretty solid lead, didn't win a lot of races during the during the middle part of the season. Early he won, but now he is the fastest car out there. And Cummins, after starting on the outside of the front row, holds off Briggs Danner to win at Dodge City, with Kevin Thomas Jr., who was the early leader in the race, finishing third. C.J. Leary and Chase Stockton rounds out your top 5. Tonight they'll be at Route 66 Speedway at Amarillo, Texas. You've been to all these racetracks, haven't you?
I have been.
I remember a trip you took to Amarillo one night, and there was a tornado and a bad storm that about swept you all away.
Right.
And you had to hide out in a car wash. You remember that?
Yep.
So you've had some trials and tribulations out there on the road, wasn't it? But that was Amarillo, Texas. That just comes to my mind. You want to hear from Brent Marks, the winner from Wednesday night? We did an interview with Brent Marks following his victory on Wednesday night at Lucas Oil Speedway.
Yeah, I mean, we had a great race there. Ultimately needed lap traffic to work our way through, but we were able to get it done. So things just kind of worked out for us there in lap traffic. My car was really good at where I could maneuver, kind of move around and get different lines working, and Aaron just kind of got bottled up in some traffic there, and I was just able to get around on the outside of him. And then after that, just try to run my own race.
Track conditions throughout the night, just how much different was it by the time you got to the A main from earlier in the evening?
Yeah, the track really didn't change a whole lot at all tonight. It stayed pretty heavy. Sun's starting to set earlier this time of year, moisture in the air, so tracks don't dry out as much as summertime. So they had a lot of moisture in it tonight, but it turned out to be a good racetrack. I felt like I said, you can move around and run, bottom, middle, top if you needed to. So there's a couple times I had to work the middle and was able to gain a little bit. Then I could move to the bottom and I got the leader on the top. So I think they did a great job.
5 wins this year, 2 wins in the last 3 races. What's been the ticket to you guys run a lot better here these days?
Yeah, just hard work. Just making good decisions, making the right choices, and trying to be smart behind the wheel, smart with the setup, and keeping up with the tracks throughout the night. So we've felt like we've been doing a good job with all that.
How do you see Texas Motor Speedway coming up this weekend?
Yeah, I'm really excited to get back to Texas. We won the finale there last year, won earlier this year. So we have a good program going into TMS, and I'm just looking forward to it and just see what we can do again.
As you look ahead, are you planning on doing the same thing in 2026?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I got a franchise last year, so definitely going to take advantage of that whole system, and it's a great deal what High Limit's doing and what they have built and are continuing to build. So I want to be a part of it.
That was Brent Marks' 5th win of the year. Last night, he finished in 7th place after starting 8th. So he's still running a lot better towards the end of the season than he was for most of the year. So a big win for Brent Marks on Wednesday night, the final midweek race. They made a big announcement down at Lucas Oil Speedway on Wednesday night. Next year, the Jesse Hockett Daniel McMillan Memorial Race will now be a Kubota High Limit sanction event. What do you think about that, Scott?
What?
The Kubota High Limit Series will headline the Jesse Hockett Daniel McMillan Memorial.
I think that's a great idea, Kirk.
Yeah, well, that gives that event a big shot in the arm. The dates are September 17th through the 19th. They'll have non-wing sprint cars as well there, but Casey Schumann making that announcement right before the A-Main. That the 16th annual Jesse Hockett Daniel McMillan Memorial will be sanctioned by the Kubota High Limit Racing. So that'll be fun to watch that. I'm not sure exactly if there's going to be still the late June date at Lucas Oil Speedway. They didn't mention that. The schedule should be coming out here in another month or so, but that is a big deal for the Jesse Hockett Daniel McMillan Memorial Race. Maybe the biggest news of the week.
Right.
Last night or yesterday afternoon at Talladega Super Speedway, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series invaded Talladega, and we got a new winner. His name is Gio Ruggiero, who wins the truck race. Todd, you watched a little bit of that race last night. That was a pretty wild green-white checker finish on that race.
Little overtime racing at Talladega. So
there was a kind of a nasty accident. A big truck caught fire, and
boy, that guy.
They had to pull the guy. As far as I know, he's okay.
Yeah, he was an older gentleman. He didn't. Talked about how he just out there running it for fun, and man, that car went up like a flame. I mean, I've never seen one where it was fully engulfed like that, and you could see it coming. They even showed the end car, coming through the shift. You could see it coming through the shifter box, where the flames are coming up, and he was climbing out of that thing. The net was down, and he was climbing out, but they worked on him quite a while, didn't they, Kirk? They were on the ground before they got him in the, they took the commercial break. But I was a little worried. The elder gentleman, I think they said he was 71 years old racing in that truck race. So, like you said, it was a good race. There was a big wreck on, I think, lap 7. They had a pretty big Talladega type crash, and then, like you said, Kirk, it was the game that you always have there when you're trying to figure out where to be at the very end of this thing, because you don't want to be in the front, you don't want to be in the back, definitely don't want to be in the middle of all that mayhem. But it was a pretty good truck race, and like you said, or like they were saying, these trucks aren't really meant to be racing out here on these super speedways, so they're the squirreliest looking things. When you get in traffic and stuff, that air really breaks up. So yeah, it was a pretty good race, and we had a brand new winner with Ruggiero. Is that
Gio Ruggiero?
Ruggiero.
He was running up front just about all day.
Almost all night long, and a lot of people were rooting for him.
Teammate Corey Heim, who's going for his 11th win, he ends up in second place. So today, the NASCAR Xfinity Series will be in action, and the Cup Series tomorrow. So
should be
Talladega is one of those races. I know you agree with this, Scott. You got to sit down and watch the whole thing. You never know what might happen.
Yeah,
and this being a part of the round of 8. Yeah, I mean, we could see these point battles just shuffle up tremendously here.
This is when
tomorrow.
I push the DVR button and record that, because when I'm flipping back and forth between the football games and stuff, you might miss something on that Talladega, and you might need to have to.
It's on NBC tomorrow.
It is. And yesterday's race was on Fox in the afternoon.
Yeah, that was pretty unusual to see a network carry a truck race on a Friday afternoon.
Friday afternoon, right after
you don't see that very often.
Right after Family Feud, they had a truck race going on, so it was pretty cool. It was 4:00 in the afternoon. Kirk calls me in the evening, and I said, "Boy, this truck race is crazy." And he said, "I didn't even know there was a truck race going on." And I said, "It started this afternoon." He's like, "Oh, I forgot it was this," and so he tuned in, and it was overtime, wasn't it, Kirk? And so, like you said, I know for a fact that race, they didn't think it was going to go the way it did with this kid winning, but it went the way everybody thought it would, as it being a Talladega race. That's
what you expect.
It's a crapshoot out there. Anybody can win.
Corey Heim has already advanced into the Final Four. Rajah Karush, Tyler Ankrum, and Caden Honeycutt are above the cut line. 5 points back are Ty Majeski, followed by Lane Riggs, Daniel Hemrick, and Grant Enfinger. Lane Riggs really had a great recovery yesterday. He ends up in 5th place. Didn't look like he was even going to finish the race. He ran into so many problems, but he's still below the cut line, right?
Yeah, Grant, he was out early too. He was out real early. He was a former winner. I think he won on his rookie year there, but he was out pretty early. They had to wait for him to come out of the infield care center to do the interview. So I know for a fact that it was a bumpy ride for everybody out there yesterday.
Right. So in this show, we're going to hear from Brad Sweet, who won Saturday night at Lakeside Speedway. He's got work to do. He's 40 points behind Rico Abreu, trying to win his 2nd straight high-limit championship and his 7th straight national tour. I'm not sure Brad Sweet's going to be able to get it done tonight, because it's all about Rico Abreu, what he's going to do. But we're going to hear from Brad Sweet coming up here a little bit later on in the hour. Dustin Jarrett, one of the voices on Flow Racing's coverage of the Lucas Oil Late Model Series. They are at Eldora Speedway tonight for the Dirt Track World Championship, another points battle on the line, where Devin Moran is going to try to hang on over defending champion Ricky Thornton Jr. So we'll talk about that with Dustin Jarrett coming up a little bit later on in the hour. And our program brought to you, as always, by Rod End Supply, home of the Midwest Lightning Sprints. POWRi Midwest Lightning Sprints. And we're coming back with more. Brad Sweet will join us next here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Track Talk. Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports.
4.5 minutes, gentlemen. 4.5.
Types of products. Since 1989, Rod End Supply has provided superior products priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle track or drag strip, rock climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply has an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com.
Winter is coming, and that means it's time to protect your sprinkler system before it's too late. This is SSJ. Freeze damage can get expensive, so let the pros at Custom Lawn and Landscape handle it the right way. David and the team will take care of any sprinkler system, from Lawrence to Lee Summit, Leavenworth to Liberty, and everywhere else in between. Spots are filling up fast, so don't wait. Call Custom Lawn and Landscape today and schedule your sprinkler winterization service before the freeze hits. Online at customlawn.com.
The biggest impact I get to make is seeing kids graduate.
I find it the most meaningful to be able to work with kids and see the smiles on their faces when they figure out how to read.
I felt really strongly that my faith was calling me to be a person who serves others.
The only way that things are going to get better is if we all try to lend a hand.
Volunteer in your community. Visit showmeservice.org. Sponsored by the Missouri Community Service Commission and the Corporation for National and Community Service.
When fall arrives in Kansas City, there's only one place to experience it in full color. That's Hen House, your local neighborhood market. The biggest pumpkin displays in the metro. Orange pumpkins, striped gourds, fall squash. How about that perfect jack-o'-lantern? It's all at your neighborhood Hen House. They have the largest variety of pumpkins and squash anywhere in Kansas City. And when you shop Hen House, you're supporting local farmers. Find all their specials at henhouse.com. Your Hen House market, now 100% teammate owned. At Hen House, buy fresh, buy local.
Attention hunters, farmers, and business owners. This is the Can-Am Factory Sales Event at Reno's Power Sports in Kansas City. For a limited time, score up to $3,500 off or get 0% financing for 36 months on select 2025 Can-Am ATVs and side-by-sides. Whether you're tackling tough jobs or chasing big adventures, Can-Am delivers the power, performance, and control you need. But hurry, these offers end October 31st. Stop by Reno's Power Sports today and ride away with your deal. Reno's Power Sports, Kansas City's home for Can-Am.
2 minutes, gentlemen, 2 minutes.
Medical. Men, if you're dealing with frequent urination, waking up in the middle of the night, or dreading long lines at football games waiting to go to the bathroom, it could be an enlarged prostate. Do what I did and speak with Dr. Brown at Miva Medical. Their non-surgical procedure was quick and easy, a real game changer. Go see Dr. Brown at Miva Medical, the leader in minimally invasive treatments in Kansas City. That's Miva Medical, MIVA-medical.com.
Make sure to check out the Sports Radio 810 WHB app to support our friends at Cars for Heroes. You'll hear inspiring clips of countless veterans' surprise reactions to receiving a vehicle that they desperately need and deserve. Cars for Heroes would also like to thank Shamrock Roofing and Construction for the continued support over the years. None of their success would be possible without support from local businesses like Shamrock Roofing and Construction. You can also help by donating by going to cars4heroes.org.
Did you hear? Allstate car insurance now costs even less. So when you bundle with home, you can save even more. Check Allstate first to bundle and save with a new lower auto rate. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings may vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
When you want Chiefs, follow the leader. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Rasheed, his growth from rookie year to last year, I think the word is just exciting.
He's unique because of his size and ability after the catch.
I think just having him in that room, you can just tell those guys are energized and they're ready to go.
I get goosebumps just thinking about when he goes out there and what he does to this offense.
Your home for the NFL. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Back to Track Talk and Sports Radio 810 WHB. It's all brought to you by Rod End Supply, featuring the POWRi Midwest Lightning Sprints. Kirk.
Brad Sweet won Saturday night at Lakeside Speedway. We were able to visit with the defending high limit and 5-time World of Outlaw champion earlier this week on Mostly Motorsports. Here's part one of that conversation. Man, did you ever think you were going to get that win before the end of the season? It's a lot of water has crossed under the bridge since July, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we never give up. You always want to believe that you're going to show up and win. It's not like we've been way off or, haven't been close, which we had a couple second places at Lernerville. It slipped away, and just kind of had some things that, we just weren't able to put the whole night together. So that's how racing goes. It's been kind of an up and down year for us with kind of the injury at Eldora and just crew changes and just a lot of things where KKR is kind of going through maybe a phase of rebuilding and, some different personnel. So, yeah, just it was nice to get the win, though, for the guys and, for myself, just to kind of hopefully, build some momentum for these last 3 nights of racing.
What did you think about the racetrack at Lakeside Speedway?
Yeah, I think Lakeside always is, it's always a little different, with it being down there in the flood zone and with the pavement under it, it kind of reacts different than a lot of other tracks. So the first night I thought it was going to get slicked up, but it kind of stayed wet all night. And then the next night it was slick from the word go, and they were kind of touching it up. But ultimately it raced good. All you can ask for as a race driver is just multiple lanes and multiple grooves to be able to pass on. And we had that, so we'll take it.
It looked like it was pretty slick up at the top.
Yeah, it was a little top dominant, but they brought the bottom back, and it ended up being pretty good. But yeah, by the end of the race, it was kind of back to being on the top, which made lap traffic tough. But my car kind of maneuvered through lap traffic good. That's ultimately what helped me win the race.
You finished third on Friday night with pretty good battle with Aaron Reitzel there. He got back by you on that white flag lap, and you finished third, but then you come back, start fourth on Saturday night. Talk about how you're able to grab the lead there. Ryan Timms looked like he was going to check out a la Knoxville Nationals, but lap traffic became a big factor there. Tell us how you were able to take the lead there on lap 10.
Yeah, I mean, that's typically what wins these races is how your car is able to maneuver through lap traffic. So I think just having a really good car that was able to go, on different lines than the other guys. And, I think when Ryan got to lap traffic, he tried to maybe slide and broke his momentum and didn't get past a couple of those lap cars. And sometimes you get spinning your tires and pretty soon we were, everybody was kind of backed up together. So I think just having a good car, I was able to get by Brent Marks and then get by Ryan and then kind of get by some lap cars and just kind of felt like I fell into a nice groove there and was able to, pick my runs and do my slide jobs and, started feeling pretty good there.
You've had good success at Lakeside Speedway. Did the experience pay off running that particular racetrack?
I think, yeah, anything in general with sprint car racing, the more experience you have, the better you end up doing most of the time. So, yeah, I've had good success at Lakeside and, raced there quite a bit over the years. And, I always enjoyed going there. The fans, really show up and support. This area really has some good sprint car fans. So nice to race in front of good crowds both nights. And, just like I said, it's just nice to get a win, whether it's at Lakeside or any track at this point. But it was good to be to get it done the other night.
It was after that previous win at Florence Speedway. You went to Eldora Speedway, took a really tough hit at the Kings Royal, and you had to sit out of the race car there for a few races. You come back to Knoxville and made a lot of made a bunch of changes to the team. Casey stepped out of the seat of his car, moved some crew members around. Just talk about all of that and how challenging that was to get that reorganized right there at the biggest race of the year.
Yeah, that's just kind of back to what, I stated there. It's been kind of a tough year, just on a lot of, different fronts with, obviously you never want to get injured, but it's part of it. And, had to kind of sit out with a concussion and try to heal as best I could. And, I think Casey's frustration, just with our performance and other factors led him to make those big changes. And, he's the boss, so he gets to do whatever he thinks is best for the company. And,
right.
I think there's, it's just a rebuilding phase, I think, a little bit on the personnel side. And, yeah, we ended up, we've all been working hard, to try to finish the season strong. So, like I said, all their hard work starting to pay off with some consistency and then, now finally a win. So hopefully we can finish this year really strong.
You're going to go down to Lucas Oil Speedway on Wednesday night. Talk about that racetrack a little bit.
Yeah, Lucas Oil is a beautiful facility, and I hadn't really got to race there much in a wing car until High Limit started to go there last year, and now we have, I think, 6 or 7, 8 nights under our belt at that track. So we're starting to build some notes, and I was able to get a win there last year at this race, actually, on this midweek thing that we're doing. And we have a lot of things, pointing in the right direction to hopefully have another good night down there. But you never know. It's a tough racetrack. It's been consistently, pretty good for us every time we race there. It gets pretty slick, but it's been pretty racy. So hopefully you have another good racetrack, and hopefully we can put another, good night with our Napa car together.
Yeah, when you were there in June, you had a 5th and a 3rd, and then a year ago, as you pointed out, you won that race. You got some pretty good notes built up right now for that racetrack. Did it stay pretty consistent from when you won there a year ago to what was it? How different was the racetrack in June than what it was there when you won last fall?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty, it's always the same track, but that's what's so unique about dirt racing is you never know what you're going to get.
Right.
Weather-wise plays a factor, and, just sometimes they could dry out quicker than other times. And so it's been pretty consistent, but certain nights, there's maybe been a little bit more of a bottom, and then certain nights there's, it's a little faster all night. And the last time we were there, it got really, really slicker than I've ever seen it get. So, I think it's, pretty consistent, but you still there's a lot of factors that you don't know until you get there what's going to take place. So you just got to kind of react to what the track's doing and what you think your car needs. And, that's what Casey and I have been working on is making good decisions. So hopefully we'll have another good solid night and kind of the track will be good and racy, and we can hopefully win the race.
And this just goes to show how much qualifying really matters. His win on Saturday night at Lakeside Speedway, Brad Sweet was able to qualify up towards the front. I was just trying to see just exactly where he qualified.
He finished
on Saturday night.
He finished 4th last night.
Yeah, last night he finished 4th after starting 10th. And then on Wednesday night at Lucas Oil Speedway, he started in the 9th spot and ended up 4th. So, but you going up against guys that are getting in the dash and starting up in the first 2-3 rows. It's, with the competition level out there, it's hard to win when you're starting as far back as 10th, but still pulling out a 4th place finish. But right now, Rico is poised to finish this off tonight. But, it's like anything else. If Rico has any kind of a mechanical problem, gets upside down, you never know what might happen. 40 points can be made up if things don't go well for Rico tonight. So we'll be seeing how things go tonight at the Texas Motor Speedway dirt track. We're going to talk some late model racing. The Dirt Track World Championship is going on tonight at Eldora Speedway. They're paying $100,000 to win. A $250,000 championship is on the line for the Lucas Oil Late Model Series. Ricky Thornton Jr. has got a little bit of work to do because Devin Moran, who leads by 15 points, will be starting 3rd in tonight's main event. Now, RTJ did win the World 100 here about 6 weeks ago, so there's that. But when we come back, we're going to be visiting with Dustin Jarrett, who is one of the voices for Lucas Oil's Late Model Series coverage on Flow Racing, and get a little bit of a preview of tonight's big event out there at Eldora Speedway. So we're going to do that when we come back. You're listening to Track Talk here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Track Talk. Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motor.
3.5 minutes, gentlemen. 3.5.
1989, Rod End Supply has provided superior products priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle track or drag strip, rock climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply has an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com.
It's the most magical night in Briarcliff Village. Join Carne Diem for the lighting ceremony Friday, November 8th. Bring the kids for fun activities from 3 till 6, then watch the lights and fireworks at 6. Carne Diem will be serving $2.50 hot cocoa and coffee and $6 fried pork cheeks and $6 charcuterie cups. Plus, November is Giving Month. Carne Diem is matching pantry item sales with donations to harvesters. Reserve your holiday turkey, roasts, and steaks today.
This is James Hawkins, president of Golden Oak Lending. With rates as low as 4.5% and your home's equity at record highs, now's the time to refinance. Our cash-out customers save an average of more than $1,000 a month and even skip 2 payments. Call 913-890-GOLD today.
Golden Oak Lending, join my blue.
5.442 APR, FHA 15-year, 20% equity, qualified credit, additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
Caring for aging parents can feel like a second full-time job. Kansas PACE eases the burden by taking care of all your parents' medical needs, including dental, vision, and hearing. And Kansas PACE does the driving to appointments, even provides help at home with reliable home care aides. Their welcoming PACE centers add social activities and a safe place your parent will look forward to. While they receive expert, compassionate care, you can focus on your own family, work, and life without guilt. Kansas PACE is your partner in caregiving. See how they can help your family today at kansaspace.org.
Winter is coming, and that means it's time to protect your sprinkler system before it's too late. This is SSJ. Freeze damage can get expensive, so let the pros at Custom Lawn and Landscape handle it the right way. David and the team will take care of any sprinkler system, from Lawrence to Lee Summit, Leavenworth to Liberty, and everywhere else in between. Spots are filling up fast, so don't wait. Call Custom Lawn and Landscape today and schedule your sprinkler winterization service before the freeze hits. Online at customlawn.com.
Service isn't just in our name. It's who we are at Patriot Heating, AC, and Plumbing. We proudly serve Kansas City homes with expert HVAC, plumbing, and indoor air solutions. And to those who've served our country, we give back with exclusive veteran discounts. With same-day service, honest pricing, and our worry-free club membership, you can count on comfort all year long. Patriot Heating, AC, and Plumbing. Trusted locally, proud to serve veterans, and always ready to serve your home. Visit callthepatriot.com.
Are you a parent, guardian, or caregiver of a young adult diagnosed with autism who is seeking employment or experiencing difficulty in the workplace? The Autism Resource Center of Kansas City is here to provide a solution. Introducing Pathways to Employment, a new program for adults with autism seeking to obtain employment skills or learning to navigate the workplace. Because building skills for successful employment empowers a life of greater independence. To learn more and enroll for their winter session, visit aarckc.org. That's aarckc.org.
Welcome back to Track Talk. It's all brought to you by Rod End Supply, featuring the POWRi Midwest Lightning Sprints.
If you watch the coverage of the Lucas Oil Late Model Series season finale at Eldora Speedway tonight, you'll hear the voice of Dustin Jarrett. He, along with James Essex, will be up in the tower with Ben Shelton and Randy Weaver down in the pit area. Who's going to walk out of there with the big money at Eldora Speedway? Earlier this week, we spoke with Dustin Jarrett to try to break down what's going to happen tonight at the Dirt Track World Championship. A huge weekend at Eldora Speedway this weekend with the Dirt Track World Championship. And who's going to walk out with the $250,000 Lucas Oil Championship this weekend? Dustin, big money on the line. Are you excited for this weekend?
This is the kind of stuff that I feel like as kids we all dream of, right? Like you've got this $250,000 points championship on the line, and oh, by the way, the winner of the race itself gets $100,000. I mean, it's possible that if Devin Moran or Ricky Thornton Jr., with one of those two win this race, it's possible to actually get $350,000 this weekend. Like, what kind of crazy world are we living in, guys, where someone in dirt late model racing is walking out with that? It's unbelievable. I'm super pumped for it. Just very honestly, as pumped as I've been for a race in a really, really long time.
Ricky Thornton Jr. won the World 100. He's coming in as trailing this championship. At the Pittsburgher here a couple of weeks ago, he had some trouble on the opening night. What happened to RTJ?
Yeah, he got a flat tire on opening night. Now, he did rebound and get a top 10 finish. I think it was 9th in the final rundown, or 7th, if I'm not mistaken. But it just goes to show how, I mean, when you have this chase for the championship format, every single night and every single lap of every race matters. And so he came into the chase for the championship with a 70-point cushion. And then he's got a 15-point disadvantage now on Devin Moran, who's just been incredibly consistent over the last 4 or 5 races. So I've talked to both drivers here in the last week, right? And RT is obviously very, very confident, coming in, having won the World 100, as you mentioned, and everything else, being the defending series champion. And then you've got Devin Moran, who, I mean, really and truly, Dev's kind of playing with house money, right? He's been second in the Lucas Oil Championship 2 years in a row, and he comes in leading the points, but he also knows that, I mean, he still has yet to win a crown jewel race at Eldora. He's got a prelim win in one of the biggies, the Dreamer World there a couple of years ago, but he still doesn't have this crown jewel Eldora win. So he's coming in kind of playing with house money, thinking, hey, you know what, we've got nothing to lose. We're going to go in there and throw caution to the wind and do everything we possibly can to try to win this championship.
He started a trend that you bring a special car to Eldora Speedway. Jonathan Davenport and the Landers team's been doing that for a number of years now. But we talked to Nick Hoffman last week and some other drivers and said, yeah, they all got special cars for Eldora now. What do you think about that?
Yeah, and you know what's funny is to that point, so last year when he was battling for the Lucas Oil Championship, Davenport actually took the Eldora car to Pittsburgh last year and won with it. He led all 70 laps, and then, of course, was unable to parlay that into a Lucas Oil Championship last year. So fast forward to this year, what happens at Pittsburgh on Saturday? Jonathan Davenport goes out. He leads every lap of the race and wins the Pittsburgher again. So I asked him in Victory Lane, I said, all right, I got to ask you, Davenport, is this your Eldora car again this year? And he kind of laughed and he said, no. He said, we didn't bring the special Eldora car out to Pittsburgh this year. He said, we decided to see how the cards were going to fall this weekend, and we'll bring it back out next week in 2 weeks at the Dirt Track World Championship. So that car's been awfully good to him over the years. But JD, in everything that Jonathan Davenport has done, guys, would you believe that he has never won the Dirt Track World Championship? Now, again, it's only been at Eldora a couple years, right? But yeah. I mean, he has never won the DTWC, and I gotta think that's a race that is really, really, really high on that bucket list for him to check off.
Flow Racing's going to be all over it this weekend. Talk about your coverage for the weekend.
Yeah, man, we pull out all the bells and whistles for this weekend. I think we've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think we have 7 manned cameras at Eldora this weekend, plus some speed cameras, 2 infield reporters, the legendary Randy Weaver back in the infield pit reporting, myself and James Essex up top. Flo will have you covered wire to wire. Something cool that they started last year as well. On Saturday, they started showing during the feature the live points as guys are running on the racetrack. So there's no more guessing like, oh, man, is Thornton out front? Is Moran out front? What's the points difference? That'll be live on the screen while they're racing. That's something really cool they implemented. But not just, by the way, not just the Lucas Oil Late Model Championship. We've got all 3 days. We've got the steel block late models. We've got the modifieds. We've got the stocks. We have every single class of racing covered on Flow this weekend. The coverage will start on Thursday night, and we'll take you all the way through to the last checkered flag on Saturday. FlowRacing.com. I can't say it enough.
Now, there's just one late model feature this week. No feature on Friday night. Is that correct?
Correct. It's the old school format, which we never see anymore. It's qualifying and heat races on Friday night for the Lucas Oil Series for the late models, and then B-Mains and their features on Saturday. And again, there are several other divisions racing as well. Some of those other divisions start on Thursday, and you're going to see them turning laps at Eldora throughout the weekend also. And again, the steel block late models, modifieds, the stocks. Carl Shore does it right with the Dirt Track World Championship. And of course, as always, it'll be a really well-run show. And as I just mentioned, every single lap of every single race live all weekend long on Flow Racing. Boy, that really sounded like an elevator pitch, didn't it?
Oh, you did a great job. And they are going to start early today at Eldora Speedway. I think they're trying to beat the rain there, too. They're going to start hot lapping about 3:30 our time this afternoon. So you better tune in early.
3:30?
Yeah, because they got weather forecast out in Eldora. They want to get it in tonight. So early start at Eldora. Last night they had heat races to determine the first 6 positions of the A feature. Matter of fact, the top 3 finishers in each of the 6 heat races have already qualified for the A main tonight. 18 cars total. So here's the way it lines up. Chris Ferguson and Chris Madden will be on the front row. Chris Ferguson, by the way, beat his cousin Carson coming out of the 4th turn on the final corner of his heat race, which that was probably the highlight heat race of the night. So Chris Ferguson will be on the pole tonight. Chris Madden outside. Row 2, Devin Moran, who is the points leader, will start alongside Garrett Alberson. Brandon Shepard and Dale McDowell will be on row 3. 4th row, Carson Ferguson and Ricky Thornton Jr. Row 5, Nick Hoffman and Dennis Erb Jr. Hudson O'Neill and Jonathan Davenport will be on the 6th row. Row 7, Bobby Pierce and Brandon Overton. Clay Harris and Jason Jameson on row 8, and row 9 will be Dalton Wilson and Joseph Joyner, and the rest of the field will come out of B features that will be held tonight, and we'll see who can walk in with 100 laps. As long as you're starting up in the front half of the field, I think you're going to be okay. So with that many laps, I don't think it really matters all that much where you start. You don't want to be starting at the back.
Right.
But if you're up in the first 3 or 4 rows.
You never want to start in the back.
No. At any race.
In any race.
The name of that driver that was on fire yesterday at Talladega was Norm Benning, 73-year-old driver. And I was just thinking, after we talked about that earlier, Todd, Norm Benning was the same guy that had his truck stolen at Kansas Speedway 4 years ago.
Right.
Remember that?
I felt so bad for that guy. He's an independent team like that. He
was left stranded here in Kansas City.
And I watched a video from
I raced with him in ARCA.
You did? Yeah, Norm Benning.
Right.
He's still out there doing it.
Well, he talked about that he's probably going to have another treatment tomorrow, which would be today. But he said he'll be there at Martinsville. He said his biggest worry was he lost a complete engine. This is his Daytona truck. So
that's a big deal to somebody like Norm Benning, who's invested everything he's got. We're not talking about a high-dollar deal.
No, that's the problem. Like he said, he was more worried about the engine. He said it was a complete let go of the engine. He'd never seen something. He also said in all of his years of racing, he'd never gotten out of a car that fast. So he said he already had the net down, Kirk, and the belt off as he was coming down pit lane. He got out of there pretty darn quick. I was a little worried that they kept him on the ground, but obviously he said that he'd held his breath, Kirk, and he couldn't hold it no more. So he had
73.
Yeah, and he had held his breath all the way down when it went off,
Kirk,
but he couldn't hold on no more.
How old are you going to be?
I'm going to turn 70 next year. He's older than me.
He's older than Kirk out there.
Right.
But he definitely got him a blast of...
glad he's okay.
That's really... And he said he'll see you at Martinsville, so obviously he'll be back racing again. So.
But that's a major incident. Somebody like Norm Benning, who really can't afford to have too many bad things go wrong. I mean, when he got his truck stolen, that's what made that a big story.
It was huge.
That's all he had.
That was it.
You know?
And so, like you said, hopefully he can get everything secured and get ready to roll again. But yeah, he said that's his Daytona Talladega set up, and it's gone right now. Boy, it was burned up, Kirk, too. They showed a picture of it in the pits. It was
right.
That was a lot of fire. Man, there was fire coming up through the firebox, through the shifter box, and everything. It was a fully
that
fully
toxic
engulfed.
stuff you're
I didn't
breathing
see
in.
it.
That's
we'll show it between the break. Maybe we'll show a little bit of clip. But man, even the stuff, the fire retardation stuff, that stuff was burning and flying, not burning, but coming off of that car, Kirk, because of the explosion on that engine.
We're seeing too many of these cars catch on fire.
Yeah,
that next gen car for the Cup Series especially, but you don't see that so much in the truck series and the Xfinity series.
And they talked about that even in the booth with Michael Waltrip and 5-time winner of Talladega. I believe it was who was doing the call last night?
Brad Keselowski.
Brad Keselowski, 5-time winner of. So yeah, he said he'd never seen something
Jamie Little was doing the
pretty good race, like you said, just one overtime. But stay tuned to hour 2. We're going to have part 2 of both of those interviews.
So I'm looking at the point standings now for the Cup Series. Denny Hamlin's already locked in. You know, he won his 60th career win last week at Las Vegas. You got Kyle Larson, 35 points to the good. Christopher Bell is 20 points up, and Chase Briscoe 15 points up. How about the season Chase Briscoe's had this year? First year for Joe Gibbs Racing, replacing Martin Truex Jr. in that 19 car. He's had a great year.
Yeah, he's probably not
2 wins.
Yeah, you're not going to complain when you come jumping onto a new situation and you kick in the door with a couple wins, and like you said, that makes everybody feel pretty good about bringing you on board, I'm sure. But tomorrow's race, Kirk, it's a crapshoot.
It's a wild card.
Who's your pick for the?
Use that. It's hard to pick.
I'm going to go out on a limb and pick something crazy. I don't know. I'm going to look for hour 2. We're going to probably make our picks on hour 2, so we can pull up some odds.
William Byron, after coming off that horrible wreck last week with Ty Dillon, is now 15 points behind. Chase Elliott, who we thought was going to be a lock to Phoenix after he won at Kansas here, is now 23 points back.
Yeah, that was a bad week.
Joey Logano is 24 points behind, and Ryan Blaney, who had an awful day at Las Vegas, had a tire go down early, smacked the wall, 31 points behind. Let me tell you something about Ryan Blaney. He's won 3 times at Talladega, and he's won the last 2 races in the fall at Martinsville, so don't count him out yet.
Blaney be a pretty good pick today out there at Daytona. Or Talladega, I mean. So that might be a good pick tomorrow. That might be a good pick. So.
Yeah, it's hard to predict. I'm going to say a non-playoff driver is going to win at Talladega. Yep. I think, Brad Keselowski has won like 6 times at Talladega. I'm thinking he might just slip in there and steal it.
He talked about how you have to ride on the edge out there at that track.
What do you think, Kirk?
What do you think? Who's going to win tomorrow? Can you believe Kyle Larson has not won since May 11th at Kansas Speedway?
Right.
It is kind of strange.
I thought he was going to win last week at Vegas, but that didn't work out so good for him, did it?
So we race in Lake.
Hamlin he was just a faster car there at the end, wasn't he?
Absolutely.
I think Larson needed the long run at the end.
Yeah.
And he just didn't get it. Stay tuned. Hour 2 coming up. Exclusively on Race Boys. We've got College Game Day coming up next. Scott? Looking forward to hour 2?
Yep.
We'll talk more racing.
Couple more interviews. Kirk's got some audio from out there at the races, so got good stuff, guys.
Thanks to Jay Powers, back at Sports Radio 810. Todd Surprise, great job as always. Appreciate you tuning in. We'll be here next Saturday morning. Hour 2 exclusively on racinboys.com, Facebook, and YouTube. Thanks for joining us. Have a great rest of your weekend, everybody. We'll talk to you next Saturday.
Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports
Thanks,
as well as
Ben.
industrial applications with many different types of products. Since 1989, Rod End Supply has provided superior products priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle track or drag strip, rock climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply has an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com.
Many men remember their first time, but maybe not the first time you're thinking about. I'm
See you
talking about
next
the
Saturday,
first
man.
time
Thanks.
erectile dysfunction ruined the moment. Maybe you laughed it off, but then it happened a second time, a third. Now you know it's a problem.
Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as industrial applications with many different types of products. Since 1989, Rod End Supply has provided superior products priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle track or drag strip, rock climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply has an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com.
So here at Specialty Sportswear in-house, we do all of the screen printing, all the embroidery. We do some vinyl. The other add specialty items like your pens, magnets, notepads, calendars. You can actually buy that, build your business to make it larger. We have the largest screen printing process and the largest embroidery anywhere around in the area. We can do stuff all the way from your school clubs to sports teams, a professional look in the office. If you can imagine it, we can do it for you.
From the circle track to the drag strip to off-road racing, Rod End Supply has been keeping their customers at the front of the field since 1989. Whether you need rod ends, tubular rods, or specialty products, Bob Douglas and his Rod End Supply staff are always ready to help you with your needs. You can visit them on the web at rodendsupply.com or call them at 800-284-2902. That's 800-284-2902. Rod End Supply, keeping you at the front of the field.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Sabres 33 RLP. Let's go take a tour. Coming into this animal, we're going to take a trip back here to the feature of this trailer, the deck. Check it out. It's awesome. It's 4 by 10 feet. You can dance on this thing. Boom! Check it out. It's pretty nice. And then coming to the back of this thing, you got a 75-inch TV. It's huge. 60-inch fireplace. It's nice and big, keep you warm. Then you got an ottoman that converts into a table, if you will. Maybe some TV trays. Then this hide-a-bed that I'm pointing at, it comes out and folds into like a king-size bed with storage in the corner for all your linens. Great little addition to the trailer. Your dinette, of course. Then you're gonna come around to the kitchen with the tic-toc sink. It's got the spritzer and the waterfall and all that stuff. Residential style refrigerator. It's got the microwave and the oven that's residential as well. Big old pantry over here with motion detected lights, coffee bar, and then coming up to the bedroom, you'll have the bathroom first, nice and spacious with a seat in it for them ladies. And then we got the king size bedroom with washer dryer hookup. I'm telling you, this is a home run for a couples coach. Come and see me, Kyle Walker.
When Steve died, the outpouring of love was amazing. These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized, no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive. So having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
So we have a lot of folks come in interested in traveling for work. This is going to be a great option. Your Coachman Northern Spirit 2565 front kitchen. You have a nice wraparound full front kitchen here. Huge windows up top. Big 12-volt refrigerator. Lots of windows on the sides here. Great natural light coming in. You have your big TV over here on the swing arm bracket so you can kind of see it from any point in the room. Also have your bar stools here. Sit and eat your breakfast. In the bedroom, you're going to have a king-size bed in the slide-out. Lots of storage underneath that. Washer, dryer, hookup. Tons of storage with the drawers. Then you got your full bath across the back. When it comes down to a camper that you can get for 6,500 pounds and be under 30 feet long, this is an absolute home run.
Race fans, the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum is open 7 days a week, year-round, for you to come in and check out all of the wonderful race cars on display in the museum. And our online store at sprintcarstuff.com is open 24 hours a day for you to check out everything that we have in stock for sprint car fans. Whether it's for a birthday, anniversary, or Christmas, sprintcarstuff.com has it all. That's at the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum in Knoxville.
Go harder, faster, stronger with Rod End Supply. Whether you are running industrial, farming equipment, or a race car, Rod End Supply has the assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products that will help you lead the field in performance. Our superior design means our rod ends last longer and perform better, giving you the edge on the track and saving you money. Contact Rod End Supply or order online today at rodendsupply.com. We don't just sell them, we race them. rodendsupply.com. Serving the racing community for over 30 years.
Hey everybody, this is Larry the Cable Guide. You are listening to RacingBoys.com, and if you're not, I swear to you, get in your truck or do something, but get the hell out of this country, because you don't belong in it if you don't listen to these fellas.
It's time for America's most unique motorsports show, Track Talk, brought to you by Rod End Supply and the Power Ride Midwest Lightning Sprints. Here are the Racing Boys, Scott Traylor and Kirk Elliott.
Welcome back to Track Talk. It's all brought to you by Rod End Supply, featuring the Power Ride Midwest Lightning Sprints.
We got a lot of sound and interviews coming up here during hour two. We had part two of Brad Sweet, who won last Saturday night's weekend finale at Lakeside Speedway, and also more from Dustin Jarrett on dirt late model racing at Eldora Speedway tonight, the Dirt Track World Championship, to wind things up for the Lucas Oil Late Model Series. And we've got some sound coming up from some of the top finishers down at Lucas Oil Speedway on Wednesday night. Scott and I were down there for the midweek high limit race at Lucas Oil Speedway.
What did you think of that race, Kirk?
I didn't think it was quite as good as what we saw in June down there, but it was still a pretty good race. Brent Marks coming through with the feature victory down there. So big night for him, and also for Rico Abreu, who ends up with the midweek high limit championship by 1 point. Now he's got to try to settle the overall championship tonight, where he comes in with a 40-point lead after last night's feature victory at the Texas Motor Speedway dirt track. I thought the biggest highlight of the night, Scott, was the announcement that the High Limit Series is going to be at the Jesse Hockett Daniel McMillan Memorial Race next September. Casey Schumann made that announcement right before the A-Main. I didn't see that one coming, did you?
Nope, I didn't.
I was thinking that High Limit, the schedule might not work out to come to Lucas Oil Speedway in September, because they're at the Tuscarora 50. They're out there at Skagit Speedway to open the month for their big event out there, Labor Day weekend. Then they travel all the way across the country to the Tuscarora 50 at Port Royal. And next year they'll be traveling back to Wheatland, Missouri for the Jesse Hockett Daniel McMillan Memorial before heading back east to the Four Crown Nationals. So the High Limit people view this as one of their crown jewel events, the Jesse Hockett Daniel McMillan Memorial Race. So
hey, Kirk,
I think it gives the whole thing a big shot in the arm.
You're nominating Jeff Clem into the Carb Hall of Fame?
I have nominated Jeff Clem into the Carb Hall of Fame. he should get in. He's to me her first ballot Hall of Famer.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm going to meet up with Jeff later on today and gather some information. We're going to try to get Jeff Clem in the Hall of Fame. He's one of the all-time greats on pavement, especially here in the Kansas City area. Has there anybody won more races at I-70 Speedway than Jeff Clem? Yeah, so... Yeah, we're working on that.
John O'Neill would be the only one that I can think of.
And John O'Neill's already in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
So we got to get Jeff Clem in there. So, yeah, we're working on that. So I've got some sound from Wednesday night at Lucas Oil Speedway. We heard in the first hour, we heard an interview with Brent Marks. Let's hear from the number 2 place finisher on Wednesday night, Aaron Reitzel. When you're leading the race like that, getting through lap traffic, how difficult is that?
I mean, you got to go where they're not, and it's kind of just what got me today is I was a little too tight and timid to just jump up there and do that because I thought I'd get rolled up, and that's what Brent was. Brent was good early, and I got really good at the end, but it was already too late at that point.
You talked about not being aggressive enough. Just what more do you think you needed to do?
Yeah, I mean, I should have just went for it. Even though if I thought I was too tight, I can't follow them, and I was sneaking under people, and I should have just jumped up there and kind of went for it. And I think that's just what Brent was doing. He had nothing to lose back there, and I was trying to be smart and not get caught up in a crash or something, and. The points battle the way it is, but I think he had nothing to lose, and so he was just aggressive, and that's what won him the race.
And that is Aaron Reitzel, a second-place finish on Wednesday night. Last night he finished in 6th place, and that's not going to be quite good enough, Scott.
Right.
He's got to he needed a better finish last night if he wanted to close the gap. He's, as far as the owner standings are concerned, 25 points back of Rico heading into tonight. So that is Aaron Reitzel. Third place finisher was a guy that he knew was going to run well at Lucas Oil Speedway. He should have probably had a win at Lucas Oil back in June. Remember, he spun out coming out of the fourth turn in June, but he was still running up front. So Lucas Oil Speedway and Tanner Thorson has really gotten along pretty well together. And Wednesday night, he had another great run. Third place for Tanner Thorson.
I thought we'd run well. I mean, this track's been pretty good to us in the past. We have a lot of speed here. We've just had a lot of bad luck this year with mechanical gremlins, but we've had speed. We've shown speed, and tonight was one of those nights where nothing went wrong, and just too tight in the feature, but still had a lot of speed. So if we could have been a little bit looser, I think we would have had a shot there to win it. But, whenever you're racing with the best, you can't give an ounce, that's for sure.
How big is it that you're running this well at the end of the season?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, there's never a bad time to build momentum. If we can keep things rolling, and like I said, we have a super positive attitude every night. We forget about the past and focus on the future, and it's obviously huge. We want to end the year on the best note possible, and to be on the podium with 2 races left is always a good thing.
And not so much night that Tanner Thorson was looking for. He ends up 14th after starting 13th in last night's feature event. So we'll see how Tanner does tonight down at Texas Motor Speedway Dirt Track. Finally, Rico Abreu wins the midweek points battle by 1 point. And here is his thoughts after his run on Wednesday night. Congratulations, 1 point winning the midweek championship. How big is that?
Yeah, no, it's just good for my team. These guys, they work really hard to bring fast race cars to the track, and just this sport can get really grueling at times. So I get it's 1 point, 50 points, however you look at it. We we were in the right spots, majority of the little midweek series. So we gotta keep fighting here for this championship, and just keep bringing great race cars to the track.
And that was after he started 6th and finished 6th at Wheatland, and then last night started 3rd and finished in 1st place. in last night's feature event. You know, Rico, was down there talking to him, you could tell the stress that he was feeling down there. You know, it is high stress when you're a points leader, especially something like that. Where
do you feel like Rico's one of the best drivers in the country?
Well, yeah. I'd say he probably is.
Right.
Would you say maybe David Gravel and Rico are ranked at the top right now of the sprint car racers?
Right.
I think you'd have to throw Buddy Kopoid into the mix. Certainly Brad Sweet would figure into that, even though Brad has kind of gone through a lot of changes this year, but he's still winning races out there. But, yeah, I think Rico, I'd say you'd have to say Rico's one of the top 2 or 3 sprint car drivers in the world right now.
I would
Finished
agree
up front
with
of
that.
the Nationals. And I'd say Gravel is still probably number 1 at this point. He's on his way to another World of Outlaw Championship, and Rico is right there for sure. And especially if he locks it down tonight, you'd have to say that he is one of the best right now. You want to hear more from Brad Sweet?
Right.
He is the winner last Saturday night at Lakeside Speedway. First time that Sweet had won a feature in exactly 3 months. The previous win was on July 11th at Florence Speedway in Kentucky. And then Saturday night, he breaks a 3-month non-winning streak at Lakeside Speedway. Here's part 2 from Brad Sweet from earlier this week on Mostly Motorsports. Championship going right down to the wire. You're the defending champion, but now you are coming from behind. Rico leads you by 30 points. Last year at Texas Motor Speedway dirt track, you did pretty well. I think you won a race down there last fall too, did you not?
Yeah. I mean, we've been in these tight point battles for a number of years. Never been behind going into the final race, so you just never know. You know, I'm at peace no matter what happens. I'm proud of Rico and his team. You know, they've fought hard all year and put themselves in a good spot to win. And you know, Aaron Reitzel's team, you know, even without Aaron for parts of the season, have put themselves in a spot to contend for an owners championship. So you know, some neat circumstances there with kind of the owners and drivers, you know, points being a little different. But you know, overall, you just never know. You go every night and try to, you know, do the best that you possibly can, and you just hopefully the points shake out your way. But like I said, it's been a trying year, so the fact that we're even in the conversation, I think, you know, says a lot about our organization. And you know, if we can close out strong, it's up to Rico and Aaron. You know, basically, if their performances are right up front with us, it's gonna be really hard for us to beat them. But if you know, if they slip up and we have a good night, you never know. You can be in the spot to maybe make the move late here.
What are your comments about Tony Stewart coming over, getting involved with Rico and his team and going full bore with the high limit?
Yeah, I think it just, you know, speaks volumes to, you know, the fact that a car owner of Tony's magnitude and what he's, you know, put into the sport of sprint car racing, for him to believe in high limit, you know, be associated with it, you know, so it makes us proud. It says a lot. Obviously, we bought the All-Stars from Tony, and you know, he ran with the Outlaws for a long time with Donnie, and I think just timing, circumstances, everything, you know, is in a good spot for him to be a part of our organization. And, you know, the franchise system's coming, which is, you know, really good for these owners, and I think he's, you know, glad to be a part of it. So, yeah, we're happy to have him and really excited to see, you know, High Limit keep growing and see what the future holds.
How concerned are you about the safety of the sprint car racing? You had some drivers get injured. Tyler Courtney is sitting out the rest of the year. We had the Aaron Reitzel with a broken foot. You had your issues right now. That was a pretty rough weekend at Eldora back in July, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think any sport that you know, getting like bucked off a bull at a rodeo, or you know, getting concussed at a football game, or hit by a pitch at a baseball game,
right,
or flipping in a sprint car. I mean, you know, we're athletes, and we're in cars and doing things that are, you know, obviously not the safest occupation. So, you know, it's not that we don't want to continue to keep improving safety, because that's certainly high on the priority list, but it's learning from each accident and obviously trying to, keep making the cars safer, keep making the facility safer, and but obviously acknowledging that there is risk when you get into a race car going 140, 150 miles an hour, and the drivers know the risk, and it's it's an unfortunate part of our I guess industry or racing in general, but that's definitely a goal of mine is in the future is to make big improvements on the safety side and understand it and just understand the crashes more. But it's not from a lack of effort. I know the industry tries hard and tries to make improvements, and there's definitely been some technology in the seats and the headrests and the chasm systems and all the things that have gotten better, which have definitely helped with a lot of these injuries. But we still are seeing some, and it's definitely something we want to keep improving upon if we can.
You're just about finished with your second full season of the full season of high limit racing. How would you evaluate where you're at right now, about where you thought you'd be?
I don't know, because I don't know if I should say that I knew that we'd be doing as well as we are. You obviously hope, and you want to be, putting on great races and entertaining the fans and having these efficient programs and getting high viewership and selling lots of tickets. And, it's definitely had its challenges, these first couple of years when you're a new brand and, you're going to markets where, we hadn't been established. But, this year we saw, great growth across the board on ticket sales and, the fans coming to our races. Our viewership was great on Flow. So more and more people are understanding what we are and enjoying our product. And I just think anything that you do in life, it takes time. And you just gotta stay focused on, the product that we're selling and be innovative and fan friendly and, great to the teams. Teams are our partners. We can't be successful without them. So just learning, honestly learning. And, each event that we put on, we learn something new and we have a great staff. So, I think there's a lot of positive momentum for High Limit. I'm really excited for the future, excited for our franchise system to come into play and, keep professionalizing sprint car racing. I think that's the goal, is to make it a legitimate business for these team owners and, keep improving the venues so the fan experience keeps getting better. And, it's just going to take time. It's got a lot of potential, our industry, but it takes time to get it to where we all want it.
You and Kevin Rudeen expanding things out west. You acquired the King of the West, or the NARC series, right?
Yeah, with having the track out there and High Limit and what Kevin Rudeen's doing at Skagit, what we're doing at Chico, it made a lot of sense to, get involved and try to just, kind of keep what Brent Keating and Jim Allen have built with NARC, kind of rolling and see if we can help, maybe find some spots where we can help them, improve some of the things for the teams and for the fans, some of the stuff that we've implemented with High Limit. So, excited to, obviously help where we can. And the West Coast is obviously near and dear to both of us. So, we want to make sure sprint car racing stays healthy out there.
Todd, surprise is always good about putting up your merch page. Talk about your merchandise page a little bit.
Yeah, I haven't been as focused on my merch page as I probably should, just because I got so many other things going on. But yeah, we sell the merch on the Brad Sweet Racing, and we sell merch at all the tracks. So yeah, High Limit has merch that we can that fans can purchase online as well. So yeah, just we got a lot of things going on. Merchandising is a big part of it all, and that's another thing that High Limit's done well too. Is it's amazing to see all the High Limit gear at these races. So that's exciting.
Brad, we really appreciate you spending time with us. Look forward to seeing you Wednesday night down at Lucas Oil Speedway, and this weekend down at Fort Worth. And congratulations to win on Saturday night, and good luck the rest of the way.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, and hopefully we'll see the fans out there Wednesday night at Lucas Oil, and the All-In Championship weekend down at Texas. It's going to be pretty cool these next 3 nights. So,
well, that interview I think explains how much Brad Sweet understands and gets what's going on.
Right.
The crowds at Lakeside Speedway weren't what they were when the World of Outlaws came here. I'll say that. But I must say this, that there was just one night with the World of Outlaws here. Here they had the High Limit in here for
the
2
crowd
nights, so it kind of split.
The crowd
split the crowd a little bit.
The crowd was pretty thin last night because of the rain.
At Lakeside?
Right.
Well, yeah, it's going to be. I mean, of course, you had the weekly classes out there this weekend, too. Yeah, I was going to imagine that. But the crowds at Lakeside Speedway were not as big as when the World of Outlaws were here. I'll say that. Overflowing, packed when the World of Outlaws were here in the month of October. But I got to caveat that by saying that it was one night for the World of Outlaws and 2 nights for the High Limit. There was still a decent-sized crowd out here at Lakeside, but it wasn't packed. And it wasn't packed at Lucas Oil Speedway. And I think what Brad Sweet is saying, that he knows the World of Outlaws built up a brand over many decades. And that is, the High Limit Series is not at that level yet. He understands that. But what he did say was that the presentation that they're putting on right now, and High Limit is doing some different things than the World of Outlaws are, that I think over time that they will get there. And I think what I take out of that, what Brad Sweet is saying, is High Limit racing is not going away. They're going to be around for the long haul. And World of Outlaws is trying to figure out a way to coexist with the High Limit racing. We're going to see these 2 series, Scott, for a long time. The money is there for High Limit. Flow Racing has a lot of investment in this series. And so the 2 series, World of Outlaws and High Limit, are going to be around a long time. They're different business models. Dirt Vision carries the streaming for World of Outlaws, and they own all of the World of Outlaws series and Extreme Outlaw Midgets and the World of Outlaw late models and all that. And so it's a different business model. High Limit has the franchises right now that they're developing. But I think if you look at it objectively, since High Limit started their tour and started to go head up against the World of Outlaws, that it has brought more teams into the fold to travel on a weekly basis, not less. Now, car counts can be an issue some places. There were only 25 cars at Lucas Oil Speedway the other night, 26 race cars at the High Limit race down in Texas last night. So you're going to see that at times where car counts are going to be kind of hit and miss. And some of these events, I'm sure that the High Limit people, Brad Sweet and Kyle Larson, would like to see a bigger deal at Texas Motor Speedway Dirt Track for their season finale, because right now it's not as big as the World Finals at Charlotte Motor Speedway Dirt Track. But again, it's taken World of Outlaws a number of years to build that up out there at Charlotte. And High Limit has a little ways to go to get their season finale weekend at the level that the World of Outlaws has at Charlotte Motor Speedway. So there's that. And I think Brad Sweet understands that it takes time. You got to keep doing what you're doing, commit to the, what you've already started here. But I think the big message out of all this, after almost 2 full years of the High Limit going up against the World of Outlaws, that the High Limit Series isn't going anywhere. Unlike what's challenged the World of Outlaws in the past, this is not a flash in the pan. The High Limit Series is going to be around for the long haul, and I think the World of Outlaw people are coming to realize that, don't you?
Yep.
So we'll see how it goes.
Hey, Todd, Ace Frehley passed away.
Yeah, it's too bad.
He's a big guitarist for Kiss, right?
Right.
I met him in 1995 at a NAMM show that I went to.
You met Ace Frehley?
Yes, sir. Got his autograph and gave me a set of guitar strings and signed an 8x10 promo photo at the Gibson booth. But yeah, the poor guy, he fell and he'd been on tour, and then he took a fall, and then the doctors told him he needed to to take a break so that he could have some time to heal from that injury from falling and hitting his head, and then he fell again at his house.
Was he 74 years old?
He fell again at his house and developed a brain bleed and passed away. So
that's sad.
Yeah, there was. You hate seeing your childhood heroes, and like I said, from the age of 6 years old, from the first time I heard Kiss was. I pretend.
How many times did you see Kiss?
I saw him a couple of times back in the 70s.
During
They
the
were
real show.
massively huge back when I saw them.
Yeah. Live at Budokan was one of the which was an HBO video from 1977, so it'd be right around that same time.
That's about the time I saw him up there. Vets Auditorium in Des Moines. A couple of times.
Yep. Sad.
We had an experience with Gene Simmons one time, didn't we, Scott?
Right.
Gene Simmons was out at Kansas Speedway.
He used to be an Indy.
Was that for an IndyCar race?
He used to be he used to own part of an Indy team.
I've never experienced the aura, the feeling that I got sitting next to Gene's. We had him at our table. We interviewed him. He just had this different kind of feel about the guy.
Yeah, he's definitely was larger than life there for quite a few years. He just had a very bad accident too.
Wow.
He crashed his car and it could have gotten pretty bad. I can pull up that story real quick, but he just had a car crash, I'll say probably less than 2 weeks ago. Well, now there's less than that even. It's about. So I'm going to tell you what he got into. So there's a photo of his crashed car, but he almost went off into the ocean. Yes. It says drove headfirst into a parked car.
I see the ocean in the back.
Yeah, he drove headfirst into a parked car, and he's lucky that it didn't drive off the cliff into the ocean, according to TMZ.
How old is he now? He's
70. He's all of them around the same age.
Peter Criss, is he still around?
Yes, sir. Yep, all of them are still alive, but until Ace just passed this week. So, like you said, Ace had a couple falls, and he'd had. Ace had a pretty rough, he had a major car crash that kind of screwed his face up. He was in a major car crash.
Boy, he could play that guitar, couldn't he?
Yeah, and it's funny because a lot of people don't know this. He's kind of like, well, I probably had more lessons than Ace Frehley had. He was not what you would call he wasn't one of those guys who would sit down and say, this is. He's just played from what he heard and what he felt, that kind of a thing. Ace Frehley was different kind of cat, but I'll just say this: he has probably inspired more kids my age to want to play guitar or be in a band just because of the visual. When you're a little kid, it was kind of like a comic book come to life. When you seen these guys and like you said, to me. Music, I'd been listening to whatever was my mom and dad had kind of listened to around the house, you know what I mean? And then when you saw these guys, it was not only the audio, the visual, and
they put on a hell of a show.
Well, their live shows, they're I had a Kiss poster,
the lights and the flash, and
just an amazing visual thing. So they
did things back then that rock bands didn't do that other bands picked up on.
Oh yeah,
and they were the leaders of all that. You didn't see the kind of showmanship.
Well, there was a
from
show.
Rock band. They were the first to do that.
Yeah, they took their stuff from vaudeville and all this stuff. Kind of put it all together. And I went and saw them just not too long ago, about 7 years ago, drove up to Nebraska because I missed the concert here in Kansas City, so I drove up to Nebraska and caught them up there. But yeah, man, like you said, I hate seeing all these guys
Didn't you see them somewhere up there, up around Sioux City or something a number of years ago, Scott? You and Scotty Cook were up.
Oh, you guys went and seen Kiss. You guys went and seen Kiss somewhere.
Was that Kiss?
Yeah, remember, Scott? You guys snuck in. You and Jeff Christensen and
yeah,
yep.
You guys
remember telling that story.
Snuck into the Kiss show. just showed up and didn't have a ticket, and they opened the door and you walked on in.
You got in.
Right.
So, but yeah, that, like you said, I hate seeing a lot of these people getting old. All of my means I'm getting old if all the guys that I started watching are slipping by. But yeah, unfortunate. Like you said, it wasn't a health. I mean, it was a health thing, but it was a slip and fall. So be careful, guys. Like you said, you get up there in age, man. Don't just go jumping, running down those steps or running out to the car or stuff. You know, you gotta be mindful about where your feet are landing, because if your head,
I'm with you on that.
You know, if your head takes a shot, it ain't gonna
the
help.
body just doesn't operate like
that's
it used
what
to.
That's exactly right. We're getting old, guys. Getting old.
Remember to tune in early tonight for the late model show at Eldora Speedway, because
what time is that, Kirk?
I was looking at the information now sent out by Lucas Oil Late Model Series. They decided to advance the start time. Hot laps at 3 p.m. Central Time, our time, 4 p.m. local. Gate times will remain the same at 12 noon. That's 11 our time. So they're starting early out there. So if you're wanting to tune in to watch who's going to win that Lucas Oil Championship tonight, you better tune in early, because hot laps at 3 o'clock Central Time today on Flow Racing.
Yeah, they're getting kicked off a little early.
And they're also starting getting a little bit ahead of the game tonight at I-35 Speedway. There's races up there tonight. It's the Heartland Modified Tour tonight at I-35 Speedway. There'll be an annual Halloween trick-or-treat up there, drivers meet and greet at intermission. And I think they're gonna start in fairly early up tonight at I-35 Speedway for the Heartland Modified Tour. So if you want to see some great A-Mod action up there tonight, it's the Harvest Classic. Is that what they call it? The Fall Harvest.
Fall Harvest.
The Fall Harvest. I-35 Speedway tonight. Hot laps at 6, racing at 7 is what they say here tonight up at I-35 Speedway. They had the Spooker down at Tri-State Speedway in Oklahoma last night. Tyler Wolf won the feature event down there last night. And they also had racing at Vado Speedway Park last night. Some big-time modified drivers were down there last night. I see Terry Phillips and Rodney Sanders. Some other guys were down there at Vado Speedway Park. That's another racetrack Scott Traylor's been to.
Right.
That's a beautiful facility. And so that action will continue tonight down at Vado Speedway Park. And I was looking at the results here from last night in the A-Mod division. And we see that Cade Dillard won the feature event last night. Terry Phillips was second, Tanner Mullins third, Jake O'Neill and Rodney Sanders rounds out the top 5. They'll do it again tonight down at Vado Speedway Park. I think Racing Dirt might have live video of that. Of course, they've got live video of I-35 Speedway tonight. I think the Spooker as well. So if you're interested in some good modified action, check that out. Tonight, the World of Outlaws will be at LaSalle Speedway in Illinois, and then wrap up the weekend tomorrow night at Angel Park Speedway in Wisconsin. The Badger Midgets will also be on the card tomorrow night. Of course, tonight, the High Limit season finale at Texas Motor Speedway Dirt Track. We got night 2 of the ASCS at Tulsa Raceway tonight, as well as the Keith Coons Motorsports giveaway. Kickback. So the winner of this race tonight gets a ride at the Chili Bowl. That's at Port City Raceway tonight. So we'll check that out. Dirt late model action at Eldora Speedway tonight. We had Dustin Jarrett Part 2 talking about what's going on tonight at Eldora Speedway and what's going on around. We got some more results from Dirt Late Model. Let's hear more from Dustin Jarrett right now part 2 of our interview from earlier this week on Mostly Motorsports. Ricky Thornton Jr. won the World 100. He's coming in as trailing this championship at the Pittsburgher here a couple of weeks ago. He had some trouble on the opening night. What happened to RTJ?
Yeah, he got a flat tire on opening night. Now, he did rebound and get a top 10 finish. I think it was 9th in the final rundown, or 7th, if I'm not mistaken. But it just goes to show how, I mean, when you have this chase for the championship format, every single night and every single lap of every race matters. And so he came into the chase for the championship with a 70-point cushion. And then he's got a 15-point disadvantage now on Devin Moran, who's just been incredibly consistent over the last 4 or 5 races. So I've talked to both drivers here in the last week, right? And RT is obviously very, very confident, coming in, having won the World 100, as you mentioned, and everything else, being the defending series champion. And then you've got Devin Moran, who, I mean, really and truly, Dev's kind of playing with house money, right? He's been second in the Lucas Oil Championship 2 years in a row, and he comes in leading the points, but he also knows that, I mean, he still has yet to win a crown jewel race at Eldora. He's got a prelim win in one of the biggies, the Dreamer World there a couple of years ago, but he still doesn't have this crown jewel Eldora win. So he's coming in kind of playing with house money, thinking, hey, you know what, we've got nothing to lose. We're going to go in there and throw caution to the wind and do everything we possibly can to try to win this championship.
Well, the name Moran at Eldora Speedway is huge. His dad, Donnie Moran, they call him the $1 Million Man, won so many big races at Eldora Speedway. Just is his dad still around helping Devin out there?
Yeah, Donnie's around a good bit, actually. I see Big D, as they call him, a good bit of the time whenever they're at the racetrack. And it's kind of funny because we just aired the Dirt documentary on Devin Moran. And I think that a really good point was made that here over the course of the last year or two, Devin has really kind of come into his own. He is Devin Moran now, and he's not just Donnie's son. And I think for a long time that was a moniker that he kind of felt like he had to live up to. He had that, I don't know if you want to call it a target on his back, but he felt like that he had to live up to being the son of the $1 Million Man. And I think going back to the last question, and talking about playing with house money, he doesn't have to worry about that now. He is Devin Moran. He's his own person. And, I think that I think he's finally kind of stepped out of that shadow of being Donnie's son, so to speak.
Now, that's really been a great match that Devin has had with Roger Sellers at Double Down Motorsports number 99. That team really works together, don't they?
They do. I mean, it's they had a little lull in the middle of the season this year, right, where Dev maybe didn't quite have the consistent finishes that he usually has. But I mean, again, here lately, he's been incredible. He led the points. I don't know if a lot of people know this. He actually led the points in the early part of the season. I think at the end of April, leading into May, he was the series points leader. But I mean, just here recently, that team has found their rhythm of consistency, which is something they showed last year as well. He was at Pittsburgh. He ended up third on Saturday night, and I'll give you a glimpse as to how good he's been at Pittsburgh. Third place was his worst finish there in the last 3 years, right? So, but I mean, you look at Devin's finishes recently. He was third at Pittsburgh on Saturday. He won the prelim there. At Brownstown, he was third on prelim night and second on the Jackson 100. At Knoxville, he was third on the final night. He won the Friday prelim. He won it at his home track, Muskingum County, the week before. So, I mean, it's this incredible run of podium finishes that Devin is on. And I think that we all know, whether it's stick and ball sports or racing or whatever it is, that consistency, right? That consistency is what leads you to a championship.
Just dating back here just a couple of weeks at Knoxville, Hudson O'Neill took a wild ride up into the fence, but came back the day later and wins the $75,000 top prize. That was one of the big moments of the year. That crash is about as bad as you ever seen. They dug out that backup car, and then he goes and wins the big money. Hudson in fourth place right now. He's way out of the battle for the championship right now, but he can kind of lean on that just a little bit for 2025, can he?
Yeah, I think so. And I was actually pit reporting the Knoxville Lucas Oil Late Model Nationals on Saturday night or Friday night, rather, the day after all of that went down. And that was one of those wrecks, and you kind of alluded to it. It was one of those wrecks where you don't typically see body panels and quarter panels flying off of dirt late models like that, right? I mean, it looked like one of those wild NASCAR wrecks from Daytona or Talladega 25 years ago when you used to have sheet metal flying everywhere. And when you work in this sport long enough, just like you guys have, you become friends with these drivers and their families. And I was sitting at home actually on the Thursday evening. I had a prior commitment, so I couldn't get to Knoxville until Friday. But I was sitting at home, and when that wreck happened, I mean, to say that I kind of stood at attention. My heart skipped a beat would probably be an understatement.
Right.
I talked to HUD the next day. He was okay. He said he was a little sore in places as expected and things like that. But all the safety equipment did its job. And just like you said, sure enough, he went out there and won on Saturday night. And I really and truly, I thought, man, I mean, this is going to be it. Like HUD's going to go win himself another Lucas Oil Championship now. He kind of had that rebound, looked like he was primed, but he, like some others, he's running into some bad luck here in a couple of these races, and as you alluded to, he's in fourth. He's out of the hunt for the championship, but that team's just trying to get their feet back under him and build on a little bit of momentum here for 2026.
Jonathan Davenport is 115 points back. He's out of the points battle right now, but there's nobody better at Eldora Speedway. What's his attitude heading into this weekend? Is he just not even thinking about points right now, just try to win the big $100,000?
You are 110% right, and I think anybody that knows Jonathan Davenport knows that's JD to the bone, right? He's very rarely do you hear Jonathan Davenport talk about points or worried about how many points ahead he is or how many points behind he is. He wants to go out there and win races, and that's just JD, man. That's just who he is. And who can blame him? I mean, again, he's another guy that doesn't really have anything to lose. He's going out there trying for a $100,000 win in the Dirt Track World Championship. And when you look back on Jonathan Davenport's year, I mean, again, he's won the Dirt Late Model Dream 3 times in a row now. I mean, so there's $300,000 of Tony Stewart's money that he's walked out with over the course of the last few years. And then the year before that, he didn't win the Dream, but he won the World 100. He won the World 100 in 21, and then again, or in 22 rather, in 21, and then he won it in 19. So he's got 3 World 100s before that also. So, I mean, when you think about Eldora in this day and age, Jonathan Davenport is to Eldora now what maybe Billy Moyer or Donnie Moran or Scott Bloomquist, some of those guys were in the 90s and then in the early 2000s.
I haven't seen the schedule. Is this thing coming back to Eldora next year?
Man, if I had that answer, I'd be a millionaire right now because everybody has asked me the same thing, and I honestly and truly, right at the time that we're talking about this, do not know. I'm hoping to pick Carl Short's brain here a little bit this weekend and see what he says. And if you guys know Carl Short, Carl is business savvy for a reason. He's not going to let that info slide out too much. So I honestly and truly don't know. I probably heard a lot of the same rumblings you guys have heard about it staying, about it moving. Of course, it had a home in West Virginia for many years. West Virginia Motor Speedway just reopened this past weekend to the tune of 242 cars in 4 classes. Will it go there? I honestly and truly have absolutely no idea, but hey, maybe we'll find out from Uncle Carl this weekend.
Could be some big announcements this weekend. Who are some of the other drivers that we haven't talked about that could step in and steal the big prize at the Dirt Track World Championship?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I think a couple guys come to mind. The first one would be Brandon Sheppard. I mean, he's got 5 wins in the Dirt Track World Championship to his credit already. So he's tied with Freddie Smith. I don't know if a lot of people know that. He's tied with Freddie Smith at 5 Dirt Track World Championships, and that's an incredible number. And Shep just won this race in 2023 as well. As a matter of fact, he's won the Dirt Track World Championship 3 out of the last 6 years now. So he's certainly one, I think, to keep your eyes on. And I'll tell you the other one, and he's a guy that you mentioned you just talked to last week, and that's Nick Hoffman. Nick Hoffman won the Jackson 100 at Brownstown Speedway just a few weeks ago. And then at the World 100, man, he had a tremendous weekend. He had a third-place finish after he kind of got behind the 8 ball on Thursday night, but he rallied really, really well to a third-place finish. And Hoffman and that Ty Torrey team, I don't know what it is. They really seem to click at Eldora here lately. Nick's got a ton of laps there now in a late model, and, of course, before that he had a ton of laps and several wins in a modified too. So I think those two are the 2 names that come to the top of the list. And then one other one I'll throw out there real quick is Mr. Consistency at Eldora, and that's Dale McDowell. I mean, his run at Eldora is just incredible. I think in the last, 18 World 100s, he's made 17 of them, and he's got, I think, 16 top 10s in the last 18 World 100s, which, I mean, it's just stupid to think about, So one thing we know about Dale McDowell, he's not going to be at the top of the racetrack burning his tires off, pounding the wall, or anything like that. He's going to be right on the bottom, smooth and steady, where you can about count the treads in his tires. One other guy that I think has a real good chance is going to be Bobby Pierce. Now, Bobby is the guy. He's going to be up on the wall if there's even just a wee little bit of dark brown at the top of the racetrack. The 32 will find it, and I think he'll be a contender to win on Saturday also.
Tim McCready is running much better of late. Won back-to-back races in the World of Outlaws Series. And one other guy I was going to throw out there, Ryan Gustin, who picked up $50,000 over the weekend. He won $100,000 up at Cedar Lake earlier this year. What do you think about those 2 guys?
Yeah, both great guys, right? And number one, it's good to see McCready kind of find that consistency again and get some wins. I've not yet watched the World of Outlaw highlights on Dirt Vision from this weekend at Boot Hill, but I heard that McCready was very good and had a great showing on Friday night and then had some issues on Saturday. But he's really found his rhythm here over the course of the last 2 months or so in that Boom Briggs car. And you're exactly right on Gustin. And there's a guy that's gotten a little better and a little better each of the last few times he's been at Eldora. I mean, he was 5th in the World 100. Let's keep in mind. Last year in the World 100, he was 9th. So Gustin's a guy that, I'll tell you a little story here real quick. Gustin's a guy that really holds Eldora to a high standard. And I'll preface by saying, yes, of course, everyone does, right? But Gustin really wants to win the World 100. So I talked to him last year after a race. It's just like we all do when we work in racing. We talk to other racing people, right, when we're up and driving at 1 in the morning. So I was talking to Gustin, and he said, I'm going to win. He said, I'm going to win a crown jewel at Eldora someday. And I said, I have no doubt you are, man. He goes, no, I mean it. He goes, that is my number one priority. I want to win the World 100 or the Dream or the Dirt Track World Championship. I want to win one of these crown jewels at Eldora. He said, and you're going to be on the mic to call it, and it's going to happen. He goes, mark it down. I am going to win one of those big ones at Eldora. So it's one thing to hear guys say that in passing, right? But I mean, this was as confident of a Ryan Gustin as I've heard, and confidence of drivers I've heard. And again, picked up $50,000 at Boot Hill this weekend, 5th in the World 100 just last month. So I really think that 19R is he's going to be knocking on the door of some of these cats here on Saturday night.
It should be an interesting race indeed tonight. How about Mike Marlar is back in the Delp car, who I thought was going to retire. Mike Marlar was driving for the Bruni, the Skyline Motorsports team, right. And then said, I'm not having enough success here. I'm moving on. And the guy that he used to drive for, he's back driving for now. And he showed up at Eldora Speedway last night. Mike Marlar is going to be on the pole of one of the B mains tonight, so keep an eye on him. We're all big fans of Mike Barler. Hey, there was one big incident in those heat races last night that we haven't talked about. Heat 2, Max Blair comes down on Tyler Erb. Both these guys were starting pretty close to each other. Blair was starting on the outside of the front row, and Erb started on the inside of row 2. And heading into the first turn, Blair comes down on Erb, and the two get hooked up, and it was a massive wreck in turn number 1. It tore heck out of Max Blair's car, and also Tyler Erb didn't end up with very good result either. And shall we say Turbo was a little bit upset about that?
Right.
He crawls up on the top of the car. He gets out of the race car. We'll see if we can pull up some video of that here in just a little bit. But Tyler Erb gets up, and he showed he was not happy with Max Blair after that. You know, I can't blame Turbo either, because Blair obviously came down on Turbo in that race. And so I don't blame Turbo for being upset about that. We're looking for it right now. The start of heat race number 2, if we can find that. Max Blair drives the 111 car, and I think we're still in heat 1 right there. And we'll pull it up here in just a little bit, show it to you. But it was probably the biggest incident of the night at Eldora Speedway last night. Let's see. I think this might be it. No? I thought it was heat 2. We'll find it here in just a little bit. But anyway, it was a big deal because both these guys had chances of getting transferred. You know, they pulled the top 3 out of each of those heat races for the A main, and it really created a lot of issues during that race. And it happened in heat 2, I believe. So does it say what heat race it is up there at the top, Todd? It does not. Moran, that's heat 3. But anyway, that was the biggest incident of the night at Eldora Speedway. A couple of other late model notes from last night. Jason Fager wins the feature event at Lincoln Speedway in Illinois last night. And they're racing across the street from Talladega Super Speedway on the dirt track at the Talladega Short Track. I think this might be it. No, it's not it. Anyway, last night it was Zach Mitchell winning the feature event at the Talladega Short Track. Some of the big events around the country in dirt late model racing. We have some other events that we just touched on during the first hour that I want to talk about is the Keith Kunz Motorsports Give Back, which means the winner of tonight's feature race at Port City Raceway will get a ride in a Keith Kunz Motorsports car there's that incident right there, Todd. We found it. Max Blair in the 111 car. Now watch Tyler Erb get up on top of the car right now. He's not a happy guy, is he? He's let Max Blair hear about it. We'll see if we can pull up that replay of that again. I believe Max Blair clearly came down on Tyler Erb in that race, and that was a big incident at Eldora Speed. You know, nothing happens small at Eldora Speedway. It is such a fast racetrack. Here's the incident right there. Do you see it? But Blair, I think, clearly comes down on Erb there, does he not? Yeah. That was a big pileup right there. Fortunately, no one hurt, except a lot of damage to the race cars. And it ended both of those guys' night in a big way. I'm not sure what Blair was doing right there. He clearly came down on Erb, didn't he?
Yeah, that's what it looked like to me. So I don't know. They're not happy.
Turbo, not a happy guy, was he?
He was telling him something. They'd done it
Blair's
twice.
trying to explain himself, but
he gave him the two.
Turbo was not listening. So anyway, tonight, I don't know who to pick in this race tonight. I'm looking at the lineup right now for the feature. You got Chris Ferguson and Chris Madden on the front row. Madden has not won a crown jewel event at Eldora Speedway. Could this be the night that Chris Madden pulls off his biggest win of his career? He's a former winner of the North-South 100. That's probably his only major win of his career. But here's a guy that's kind of semi-retired that has got a great starting spot for tonight's feature event. I'm going to go out and say Chris Madden, Smokey Madden, is going to win the $100,000 at the Dirt Track World Championship. Who's your pick?
Jonathan Davenport.
Yeah, why not?
Right.
He starts on the outside of the 6th row, 12th row, but that really shouldn't matter in a 100-lap race. That's a pretty good pick, Scott.
Right.
JD will find his way to the front before it's over, don't you think? Bobby Pierce hasn't won a race for a while now. He's had good finishes. He's finished 2nd, 3rd, top 5s, but it's been a while since he won a World of Outlaw race. You remember at 81 Speedway a couple of weeks ago, he was starting on the pole, and they have a rule in the World of Outlaws late model division that you can't do anything to the race car, like add air to the tires as the cars are rolling out to the grid. You can't touch these race cars before they start the race. And they saw a couple of tires down, and so they put some air in the tires, said, no, you can't do that, so you're going to the back.
Right.
And that cost him a chance to win at 81 Speedway, but he's had some good finishes. Not like he's run bad, but it's been a while since Bobby Pierce has won a race. And then he got Devin Moran, who's the current point leader, that starts on the inside of row 2 tonight, and Ricky Thornton Jr. will be starting on the outside of row 4. You know a guy you want to keep your eye on tonight? This is my backup pick, Dale McDowell.
There you go.
He almost won the World 100. I think Dale McDowell is going to have a chance to win this race. So if it's not Chris Madden, I'm picking Dale McDowell.
There you go.
National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum has a couple of big sweepstakes going on right now. We saw the sprint car out at Lakeside Speedway last Saturday night. They had that on display. And it is a race-ready 410 sprint car that you can win. They're not drawn for it until December of 2026, but you can sign up for it now by going to winasprintcar.com. And if you're looking to drive a Corvette, you got a chance to win the new Corvette. Beautiful. It's a white color with great trim. That's a great-looking car, that Corvette. And it'll be drawn next August, right after the Knoxville Nationals. You can get signed up for that. Now, they've got a flash contest going on right now that you can get some extra tickets and so forth before Halloween. So if you want to enter the flash contest, get some extra tickets, go to winacorvette.org to get registered for that. National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum is open the year round. And check out the gift shop. You're thinking about early Christmas ideas, go to sprintcarstuff.com. National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum. What's going on the rest of the weekend, Todd?
Not much. I think you're still calling for some rain around here locally for this till about the afternoon. So maybe south of I-70.
The races up at I-35 may be in question.
I think maybe that's why they're starting a little early. I think they probably
maybe if they get an early start on it, they'll get it in.
That's what I'm thinking. So.
That's what they're doing at Eldora.
Yep. Everybody, and even last night, a lot of the local football teams started. The high school football teams, they all started early or canceled and pushed it off.
So they got them all in, I assume?
Yep. They had, when you start worrying about lightning, you don't want kids and lightning and bleachers and what have you.
Lightning was pretty bad out there at Lakeside last night.
That's what I heard. It started raining right around 7:15, 7:30 right at my house, and
so they ran a few heat races and that was it.
That's all they could get in. They said save your wristband. So I think maybe.
So what are they going to do? They're going to come back and run these next week when the USMTS comes to town?
Probably so.
They're going to the USMTS, United States Modified Touring Series, will be out at Lakeside Speedway next Friday night. I'll go out there for that.
Right.
Keep her boy, this time of the year is when the weather changes, isn't it? Boy, you just never know when you get into late October.
Absolutely.
You remember out at Kansas Speedway, this was the weekend they raced out there a few times. You remember it got cold one year out at
it was chilly riding in.
Kansas. When was that? One year during the COVID that we weren't out there, that it was colder than
I remember one of the years when we used to do our infield things, it was super cold in the infield because I wore a coat back when I used to have to ride the tram in, and it was old out there. So like you said, it can happen.
Here's the before we go, I just want to get your thoughts about this. The Short Track Nationals. You remember you used to be at I-30 Speedway?
Right.
You went to the very last one at I-30 Speedway. The last 2 years, they've tried to keep the Short Track Nationals going at Texarkana Speedway in Arkansas. Tim Crawley down there. Rain has interviewed. I remember you pulled the trailer down there 2 years ago, and they didn't have it, did they? You drove down there almost.
Yep, I remember that.
You drove down there for nothing.
That happens a lot.
They called it off last year. They tried to have it. No go again. Now this year, here's what I don't understand. The scheduling has the Short Track Nationals up against the World of Outlaws, Arrowhead Speedway next Friday night, and Saturday night at 81 Speedway on the same weekend as the Short Track Nationals are scheduled to be. It's a 410 event now at Texarkana. How many cars are going to show up at each of these events, Scott?
Yeah, who knows on that.
That seems like
30
a little bit. Is Arrowhead Speedway a little too close to Texarkana, Arkansas, you think?
Yep.
I don't know.
Hey, I'm going to just read. Lakeside Speedway just posted this about 21 minutes ago. Mother Nature wins at Lakeside Speedway on championship night. Congratulations to our 2025 point champions. Vintage, number 54, Lawrence Waters. Pure Stock, Marshall Jewett. E-Mods, Corey Myers. USA RA Stock Cars, Chris Dishlong. And B-Mod winner, Tim Carrick. Attention, this rainout will not be rescheduled as the regular season comes to an end. We are very sorry for any inconvenience and are in the process of setting dates to get you your refund for the night. You must have your wristband in order to collect your refund. Repeating, we are setting up a refund date to refund all in attendance. So please watch Facebook for further details. We sincerely apologize for the inconvenience, but we feel this is the best situation for us, best thing to do in this situation.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with that. I mean, this time of the year, this time of the year, you're going to get stuff rained out. It's hard to make it up.
So they're going to just keep an eye on their Facebook page, and you'll be able to figure out how to get your refund on that, and we'll just be moving right on. So
next Friday night will be the USMTS.
Yeah. So the regular season has concluded at Lakeside. So
congratulations to all the winners, including Tim Carrick, who does it again.
Picks up Marshall Jude, Tim Carrick.
The all-time champion at Lakeside Speedway, the old track and the new one.
We'll have to get Tim on and see if he's going to come back again next year.
He's hard to get on Saturday morning because he's working.
Well, he's always working.
I've tried, yeah.
Oh,
maybe Monday.
Maybe on a Monday show we can tape him or something.
It's been a while since we had Tim Carrick on.
All right.
Well, I guess that's it for today.
Absolutely. Be safe out there if you're going to race.
A couple of big championships to be determined tonight. See if Rico can get it done in the high limit. The Lucas Oil Late Model Championship on the line between Devin Moran and Ricky Thornton Jr. We got Talladega tomorrow, so lots to talk about on Mondays, mostly motorsports. So tune in for that podcast. We got Whit Gastineau, one of our guests, coming up on Monday.
That'd be good stuff.
Todd Surprise, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. You guys have a good rest of your day. Don't get wet out there.
Right.
This will be the first weekend in about 7 weeks. Scott and I won't be at a racetrack.
At a racetrack
tonight.
Well, you'll be watching some on TV, and then
we'll be watching on video tonight.
Absolutely. All right.
Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate it. Thanks to Rod End Supply, featuring the POWRi Midwest Lightning Sprints. For Todd, for Scott Traylor, I'm Kirk Elliott. Talk to you on Mondays, mostly motorsports. Thanks for joining us.
Go harder, faster, stronger with Rod End Supply. Whether you are running industrial, farming equipment, or a race car, Rod End Supply has the assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products that will help you lead the field in performance. Our superior design means our rod ends last longer and perform better, giving you the edge on the track and saving you money. Contact Rod End Supply or order online today at rodendsupply.com. We don't just sell them, we race them. rodendsupply.com. Serving the racing community for over 30 years.